Pick up any newspaper, watch cable news channels, surf internet news websites. It's all yesterday's news today. You need tomorrow's news today. You need Trends Vision 2020 now with Gerald Celente.
Welcome to Trend Vision 2020. I'm your host, Doug Grunther, in conversation with the publisher of the Trends Journal and leading trends expert, Gerald Celente. Gerald, let's get rocking.
Okay.
What's the big news in the global markets today?
Everybody mostly is down a little bit. Dow's down as well. Gold is down. Oil's basically flat. Dow slides 200 points post four-day drop as Wall Street fears world economy may be slowing. Duh. No kidding. And here's the deal. ECB President Mario Draghi said the central bank cut its growth estimates to 1.1%. That's barely no growth at all. The ECB also said its new targeted lower-term refinancing operations, TLTRO-3 stimulus program, will start in September and run through March 2021. The loans provided by the ECB European banks to European banks at a low rate, making it easier for them to lend money to consumers. And you know what that is.
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
It's horse shit to consumers to stimulate the economy. They're giving it to the big guys. They're going to be doing more bond buybacks. Remember what we said. They're going to do everything they can to stimulate the economy with more monetary methadone. The Bank of Canada said today there was increased uncertainty around future rate hikes. And Australia's fourth quarter GDP expanded at a pace of just 0.2%. That's virtually no expansion at all. You're going to see them lower rates. They have a housing crisis on the cusp, as you're seeing housing prices decline very sharply in Melbourne and Sydney and other places. So, goes back to gold. Gold prices went down, and this is what I've been saying. The dollar is getting stronger, because what you're seeing here is they're all pumping more monetary meth into the system, devaluing their currencies. So whether it's Australia, whether it's Europe, or yesterday I talked about China, more cheap dough.
Okay, now here's a headline that got my attention. U.S. households see biggest decline in net worth since the financial crisis of 2008. Household net worth fell at the highest level since the financial crisis, according to Fed data. That sounds pretty drastic. If that's true, how come the market's so high, and how can we keep hearing that, you know, everything's fine here in the United States?
Yeah, there's a decline, but they've also gone up as well. So nothing goes straight up. And this is important because it ties into the elections. We're going to see a soft economy. They're going to do everything they can to prop it up. This is what the election is going to be about on the Democratic side. The wealth inequality, not only in the United States, it's worldwide, whether it's going on there in France with the yellow vests. This is the issue. The rich are getting richer and everybody else is getting poorer, because then, remember we talked about the household debt? All right, add that on top of it.
So,
oh, one more thing.
All right.
These went down also in the fourth quarter.
The stock market.
Yeah, there's these numbers. The stock market tanked in the fourth quarter globally because of, we had the worst December since the Great Depression. So, yes, the numbers are bad, but as we see it now, it's not going to go into a recession at this point.
But if the Democrats are able to make the point, the fact that the stock market is soaring doesn't help the vast majority of American voters, right? If household net worth is falling, then that's where the disparity is. And are they going to be clear enough, intelligent enough to make this case?
Stop calling them intelligent or clear. What the hell's the matter with you? You're talking about politicians. What's wrong with you? Well, you know what they're going to do? Nothing more than a lot of
Warning, bullshit.
That's all this campaign is going to be. Bullshit. They won't give any solutions other than taxing the rich, which, by the way, I'm totally in favor of. One of the big stories, trade gap jumped to 10-year high, record gap with China. Oh, you want to do a trade war? No, how about recreating jobs? You don't want those dirty manufacturing jobs. Remember Bill Clinton sold everybody that crap? And everybody bought it. That's why the numbers are down, because the jobs stink. And with the low interest rates, all it is funneling more money into the equity markets. The Democrats are going to make the point of it, but they're not going to bring the point of how to create high-paying jobs.
Well, here's where I'm going to disagree with you. I think they learned their lesson in 2016.
Oh, bullshit.
Because if they don't
they learned their lesson.
They want
what the hell's the matter
because
with
they
you?
Can't
they learned their lesson.
They want the White House.
They learn nothing.
No.
They'll learn to lie a little better, but they won't come up with solutions.
Well, listen, we're talking about the presidential reality show.
That's exactly it.
We talked about Tulsi Gabbard, who's actually a credible anti-war candidate.
Nothing to do with this.
But what I'm saying is, I predict that they will be forced to talk and get clear about the inequality because it's there.
They're going to talk about the inequality. They're not going to talk about how to create higher paying jobs.
Okay.
They're not going to talk about, look, the U.S. trade gap jumped to 10-year high, record gap with China. Oh, Trump is doing a trade war. We can't have a trade war. Grow the hell up. And you know I'm no fan of Trump's. Again, I say bring back, very simple, bring back the regulations that existed before that very low life Slick Willie Clinton gave us NAFTA and bringing China into the World Trade Organization. Put the rules back in place that used to be so when we had a middle class. And none of the Democrats are going to do that.
All right. We have a question from one of our listeners. We asked for questions yesterday, and I'm going to give you the email because we want your questions. We'll ask them here on Trend Vision 2020. Send your questions to trendvision2020@trendsresearch.com. That's trendvision2020@trendsresearch.com. We look forward to your questions. Here is one from George Fescos, who writes in, Gerald, when a recession hits, won't it destroy Main Street businesses, with the only places that survive being Amazon, Walmart, and McDonald's?
Yeah, he's right to a great extent. Because the government, if the big ones get in any trouble, they'll bail them out like they did with General Motors and everybody else. Yeah, the little people are the ones that get hit the fastest and the hardest. All they're concerned about are the bigs. You saw with the Amazon deal, everybody, oh, they didn't give the world's richest man money to build a joint in New York. Yeah, so he's 100% correct.
All right. Trend alert. When I see those words, I pay attention. I'm sure our listeners are also. You sent this out yesterday. Trade wars, stocks, real estate, and gold, winners and losers. Despite the near daily proclamations from the mainstream media of the U.S. launching a trade war against China, there is no war.
No war.
Beyond China, considering the size of the overall U.S. trade deficit, what's going on?
Again, as you just read, this is today's news. That was, again, we do tomorrow's news today. They were doing today's news tomorrow. They're gonna make a deal. You think these countries aren't gonna? They're gonna end their revenue stream, their profit stream by, we're not gonna do business with you because you want it to be more fair. You look at the numbers. The clothes that you're wearing, 96% of our clothes are coming from foreign countries. Mm-hmm. They used to be made in the United States. So what this trend alert is, we're saying that we don't see a recession right now. Mm-hmm. We've repeated this over and over again. The central banks are going to do everything they can to pump cheap money into the system. We're going to see pretty violent swings in the equity markets. But at the end of the year, we believe they'll be up a little bit. And remember, Trump is in the real estate business. He wants to get reelected. He will do everything he can to keep juicing the economy with more monetary method.
All right. One of our enduring themes here and a continuing conversation is the issue of war and peace and the regime change and what that really means. Headline, Assad on brink of victory after overseeing Syria's ruin.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on here?
And that's what? From where?
This is from the Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal. How about that, huh? Assad ruined it? Hey, how about those destruction of Raqqa, huh, by the United States and all those other places with the Arab Little League in France and England destroying Syria. Listen to the people that went after Assad. Listen to this clip.
People of Syria deserve a government that respects their dignity, protects their rights, and lives up to their aspirations. Assad is standing in their way. For the sake of the Syrian people, the time has come for him to step aside.
We both agree that Assad needs to go.
The Assad regime has rained down rockets on Aleppo in recent days, and that is just the latest example of Assad's brutality. We condemn this indiscriminate killing of innocent civilians, and we condemn it in the strongest terms. And it is just further evidence that Assad has to go.
Ah, interesting, huh? Hillary Clinton, Obama, John Kerry, Assad has to go. Screw you. Who the hell are you, Kerry, to say Assad has to go? You little piece of garbage, all with the rest of them. Those are the people that destroyed the joint. These are the people that did it. The Americans, the English, and they're the ones that gave our money to those rebels with a cause who was proven, most of them, were the ISISes that they want to melt now.
So in other words, we don't care who we give the money to as long as it serves our economic interest.
Economic interest or the psychopathic interests of these sick people that mentioned that Assad has to go. Who the hell are they? Oh, and by the way, listen to Obama, how he got that one wrong.
An attempt by Russia and Iran to prop up Assad and try to pacify the population is just going to get them stuck in a quagmire. And it won't work.
Oh, yeah. Russia's in a quagmire. Russia was called in, as Iran was, by Assad to stop the destruction of this country, of which over 400,000 people were killed and over 10 million people had to leave their homes. So, because Russia and Iran were there, they stabilized the radical situation. Again, is Assad my kind of guy? It's none of my business. And it's none of Obama's business. It's none of anybody's business. Mind your own business. Occupy peace.
As long as there's oil there, we're not going to mind our own business.
Well, oil was part of it too. You know, they wanted to bring a line through. That's what Iran does. It wants to bring a line from Iran through Iraq into Syria and right into the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we've hit people with a lot of tough news. That's our job, but it's also our job to lighten things up a little bit when it is appropriate. And one of our constant themes here is our continuing cannabis coverage.
Dun, da, da, da.
It's a great story because,
It
makes
you feel high.
It used to be a fight about getting high, which it still is a little bit, but really what we're learning is that the cannabis plant, particularly the cannabidiols, which is a psychoactive ingredient, medical nurses are saying this is a miracle plant. It reduces stress and anxiety. It helps people after operations. It helps get people through all sorts of situations. And we're now seeing, here are the 6 hottest cannabis products for 2019. You ready?
Let's hear them.
Get your credit card ready. Okay. Gummies. Whoever thought that would be a topic here? Gummies are huge. Cannabis edibles are an increasingly popular method of ingestion. Over $1 billion in sales last year in ingestible cannabis. Vaping has now overtaken, it's more popular than smoking the bud, even in California. CBD tinctures are the most popular CBD cannabis products due to their versatility. Chocolate and cannabis together, how could you go wrong with those two? It's over $1 billion business. So we're continuing to see this become not only a huge entrepreneurial situation, but it has a big case for medicine, because on the one hand you have millions of Americans addicted to opioids when you have this amazing plant that has equal medicinal properties.
Addicted to opiates by big pharma that put people and ruin their lives. I lost a loved one last March opiate addiction. Big Pharma, it's okay, but you can't plant God's plant. You can't use it for all the medical purposes you want because we're political criminals that get a lot of money from Big Pharma, and we put them in there running all our organizations and saying what's good and what's bad. They could kill you, but they'll ruin your lives for getting high. And you know, Doug, as you're reading this, I'm saying to myself, what a bunch of crap. Now it has to be...
That was bullshit.
It is, because now we have to hear nurses say, doctors say. They've been saying this for thousands of years, maybe hundreds of thousands of years. But now because of the low-life politicians that are making it, quote, legal, now we can see the benefits of it.
Well, we see the benefits of it as long as we follow their rules on how to get it. And here in New York State, it's still pretty complicated to do.
It's going to be terrible. It's good. Only the rich are going to, the big companies are going to be the ones that are going to benefit because they're going to make it so hard for everybody and so costly that they'll push out the entrepreneur and give it to the ones that they'll get kickbacks from. That morons and imbeciles call campaign contributions.
All right, but that said, there is a positive trend here because
there is.
It's getting legalized slowly but surely, and all states will be on board relatively soon, and we're going to see it more in hospitals.
I want to start a movement. I want to start a free pot movement. They should have no say at all. All the people, we the taxpayers, are going to be raped by these low-life politicians by taxing us to death on this thing, and other people that are selling
regulations.
And regulations. We should have a movement, a referendum. Do you want the low-life politicians to regulate cannabis, or should cannabis that Mother Nature gave us be free? There should be a referendum. Let the people vote.
Yeah, let people grow their own.
Let the people. There should be a national referendum on this. This is something I would really like to push forward.
Okay. Now we also want to end with a light story here, which actually has, I think, some serious content because we take spirituality very seriously here at Trend Vision 2020, and this is an absolutely true story. It comes out of Kyoto, Japan, and there is now an android Buddha. They unveiled him. He's 6'4" android robot designed to explain the teachings of the Buddha in plain speech, and the idea is to attract a new and younger audience. It was unveiled in a media event in a 400-year-old temple, and the android named Mindar delivered its first teaching on the Heart Sutra, which is a venerated part of Buddhist doctrine, which is all about finding wisdom by going within rather than listening to so-called experts and teachers. So I know you're going to like that one. So maybe we should have a Trend Vision 2020 robot show.
Yeah, you know, this is, again, one of our top trends. Generation Z equals Generation Zero. I mean, you listen to an android robot because people lost their passion. You know, when I was in Nepal in November and December with Kenny Young, the guy who wrote Under the Boardwalk, and we're around the stupas over there, and all these monks are on their cell phones, man. They're doing their prayers with their iPads in front of them. You know, yeah, this is perfect. I mean, it's...
Well, I like it. Listen,
I know.
If it educates kids and gets them into Buddha teaching, I'm all for it.
There's no passion. Passione. Android's got no passion, man.
I'm all for it. At any rate, we're out of time for today, but we will be back soon with more Trend Vision 2020. Doug Grunther for Gerald Celente. We'll see you soon.